Nuggets Nation, how the hell are we feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. 3 in a row by the Denver Nuggets. The series is now not just tied, but the Nuggets have now gone up. If you would have told me a week ago that the Nuggets were going to win 3 in a row, they would go up 3-2, I wouldn't have believed you. Based on what we saw in game 1 and game 2, I would not have believed you. We've already got some people in the chat. We've got people talking about Nikola Jokic, who put on an absolute masterclass tonight. Nuggets, Jokic, MV3, let's go. Yes, this is chef's kiss. Jokic with a literal masterclass. Looked phenomenal. Hello, David. We'll wait a little bit. We'll wait for some people to get in here, and then we'll just kind of talk a little bit about the game. Obviously, we will have a Hoops Your Daddy episode in the studio tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. This is that old Denver Nuggets baby blue. Oh, Carmelo era. You know I love it. Tyler is tuning in at 1 a.m. First of all, I want to talk about this. Adam Silver, it is absolutely despicable that this game did not start till Mountain Time. I always flex about Mountain Time. I'm like, it's the best time zone for sports. It's not too early. It's not too late. 9 p.m.? It's crazy. Obviously, you guys can tell I'm at my home studio. I did not drive down to Denver. I just could not bring myself to do it. I could not bring myself to do it. Yes, the Nuggets now lead the series 3-2. Jokic looked phenomenal. Aaron Gordon looked phenomenal. MPJ, very absent. Not really present in this one, but he didn't really need to be, which is what is so exceptional about this Denver Nuggets team. I feel like you can feel, I'm talking even in the living room. You don't even have to be in Ball Arena. You can feel the moment that this team turns it on. It's like a switch, and they start playing Denver Nuggets basketball. I felt it tonight, and when they started to really play the game they know how to play, it felt like, I don't know who's beating this team. I don't know who's beating this team. If the Nuggets make it past the Timberwolves, to me, they win it all. I've said this a million times over. Whoever wins this series is winning it all. Obviously, we know the Timberwolves looked really strong in game 1 and game 2, but I think the Nuggets not only found a way to win, but also kind of exposed the Minnesota Timberwolves offense for what it really is, right? We know Anthony Edwards can score. We know he can be efficient. We know he can drop 40 plus points in a game. That we know. We know that there's some guys that are really sharp from the three-point line. Karl Anthony Towns being one of them. They've got a big that knows how to shoot threes. So we've known that this offense is capable of good moments, but consistently across the board, it's not an offense that on paper is really all that fantastic. And I think that the Nuggets are starting to expose that Timberwolves offense a little bit. Thank goodness the Nuggets found a way to get past that defense, however, because I will say the Timberwolves defense in game 1 and game 2, especially game 2, looked exceptional. And they still find ways to slow down our offense. I think they've been really, really tight on Jamal Murray. We've seen MPJ in the last 2 kind of unable to find his rhythm and his groove. We can talk a little bit about his stats tonight. But honestly, he doesn't need to when everybody else shows up. And that's what I love about this Nuggets team. That's what makes them so dangerous. To me, this is the best starting 5 in the NBA. And when MPJ can't get hot, don't worry. Here comes KCP with some clutch threes. CB off the bench to me right now is exactly what this Denver Nuggets team needs. He has a winning mentality. He knows how to win. He has a fire about him that when he steps out on the court, he really does know how to turn the momentum around and or pick the Nuggets up and keep it moving. So really loving CB off the bench. I think our bench has been huge. Marky Mark says Nuggets in 6, book it. Listen, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm on my phone letting everybody know that we are live. We've got some people, questioning what's going on with MPJ. Listen, I think that the defense has prioritized him a little bit more. I think that they're pretty right in doing so because we've seen Michael Porter Jr. be the most consistent offensive player for the Denver Nuggets across this stretch of postseason play. So he became a priority, I think, for this Timberwolves defense, and rightfully so. But again, he doesn't have to be that guy. He's a selfless player. He doesn't need to get the numbers. He doesn't need to get the stats. He's still going to make an impact. Shout out to him for having 7 rebounds, 6 of which were defensive rebounds. That's huge. defensively, MPJ knows how to step up when offensively he can't make anything happen. And I think that's massive for him. So yeah, we didn't get much from MPJ, but honestly, I think that was by design by this Timberwolves defense. I think that was intentional. They wanted to slow down Michael Porter Jr. Nikola Jokic, however, an absolute masterclass. 40 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists to remind everybody, especially Shaq, that he is a 3-time MVP and probably should have been a 4-time MVP, to be completely honest with you. Absolute masterclass from Nikola Jokic. And Aaron Gordon, I was a little worried. I'm not going to even lie to you. MVP for a reason. Caleb Z, you said it. Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. Today, I was leaving. Full transparency, you guys. Half of the reason that I didn't go down to the studio is I had to go to the doctor today. I spent a lot of time at the doctor trying to figure out my health a little bit. And we were leaving the doctor, my mom and I. She came and sat with me because I ended up there with no. Listen, I don't like to think that I'm like attached to my cell phone. But when it's game day and I still have work that needs to be done and it was urgent care, but mostly because that process is quicker than just booking a doctor's appointment. I was in urgent care, phone dies. I'm there for 3 hours, stuck. It's Nuggets game night. So we end up leaving urgent care, my mom and I said, oh God, I hope this isn't one of those 5-point Aaron Gordon nights, because when we've seen it before, when he gets really hot one game, we don't always see that continue. We don't always see that consistency from a guy like Aaron Gordon. But tonight, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's continuing to do what he does. 5 defensive rebounds for him. So actually, Jokic had 7 defensive rebounds, but MPJ had 6. So I think we just saw Michael Porter Jr. step into a little bit more of a defensive role, because we had guys like Aaron Gordon offensively stepping up. We had Nikola Jokic putting on an absolute masterclass, and we actually saw Jamal Murray have a pretty good night. 50% from the field, didn't even take a 3-point attempt, didn't even go for the threes tonight, but still ended with 16 points. So Jamal Murray stepped up when he needed to. Nikola Jokic stepped up when he needed to. Aaron Gordon, who I said was the X factor, and when he steps up, we've got ourselves a really, really dangerous team. So when those guys do what they need to do, you don't need a Michael Porter Jr. to be doing what he has done for the majority of this postseason. KCP deserves some recognition. I'll tell you what, when KCP's threes start falling, it feels magical to me. I love KCP. I love his game because I love that he can bring it defensively. He had a stellar night. He had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And from the 3, he was 4 of 5 from the 3. So shout out to KCP. Essentially, our starting 5 did their job. And the Timberwolves did their job defensively, not giving MPJ many opportunities to be efficient on offense. So the rest of the starting 5 stepped up. They were playing Denver Nuggets basketball. That's what they do. One of our starting 5 members is bound to have an off night. That's normal. But when we have more than one starting 5 member having a bad night, that's when we run into trouble. MPJ is allowed to end the game with 6 points, and we still get a comfortable win because everybody else stepped up. Our bench. CB, to me, had a very, very incredible performance. He came in very clutch. He had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Off the bench, he clocked 28 minutes in this game. And I think it's because of the energy that he brought. You didn't want to take him out. The second he touched the floor, it was a very different energy out there. So he clocked 28 minutes. We saw 0 minutes for Peyton Watson. From Brazil. Wow. Thank you for hanging out. Welcome. Welcome to the hangout. I love that. Oh my gosh, how tacky. Oh my God, you guys, please be so for real. I am not. You know, when you were young and you like went to the doctor and you would keep this on and reach for the glue sticks and the markers and be like, oh, I went to the hospital. That is so tacky. Olivia, get your effing life together. No minutes for Peyton Watson. We saw very limited minutes for Reggie Jackson, but believe it or not, wasn't mad at Reggie Jackson when he was out there. He had 100% from the field, 3 of 3. Love that. Justin Holiday had more minutes than Reggie Jackson, 15, but didn't really produce offensively. However, did get 3 rebounds, 1 assist. So ultimately, our bench did their job. which was huge. Reggie has definitely calmed himself down, and it's working wonders. It is working so many wonders. When Reggie Jackson in the Lakers series would get the ball, I actually felt like I was having a panic attack. Josh says, I love KCP. I do too. I hope Jamal starts sinking some more shots. Gordon is such a great teammate. I agree. We have a very selfless starting five, and I think that is so important in this league. There are so many hotheads in this league. It's such a star-driven league. The Nuggets have a very, very good thing going where they've got a lot of selflessness, and I think it works in their favor. Liv, you switched up on your team after game 2. Yeah, I did. Did you watch them in game 2? Only Morel? If you watch them in game 2, then you should not be surprised at all that I switched up on the Nuggets because they looked horrible. And it was the best postseason defensive performance I think I've ever seen by the Timberwolves, ever. So, yes, I did switch up. If they kept playing like they did in game 2 this whole series, it would be a sweep by the Timberwolves, period. Minnesota was only team that could somehow defend against Jokic. Who will stop him in Dallas and Boston? I don't think anyone will, because I think they had an answer for Jokic early, and now he's making Rudy Gobert look like a little boy. I mean, honestly, Rudy can't do a thing to stop Jokic. The Joker cooked Rudy Gobert tonight. Yeah, that was part of his masterclass, was cooking Rudy for 4 quarters. Love to see it. I'm done doubting Jamal. Even if he's not contributing for 3 quarters, I have full faith in him to finish strong. He is a 4th quarter guy. He's a buzzer beater guy. When the time's running out, when the clock's running out, when the game's almost over, when the series might end, here comes Jamal Murray. He's a closer. He's the caboose. He's the Nuggets caboose. He's at the end of the line going, I got us. If you need me, I'm here. If you don't, I'll chill. I'm good. He is crucial. Cooked the 4-time defensive player tonight. Yeah, absolutely. No, Liv, you got to stick by your word. I do stick by my word. I do. They looked like shit in game 2. That's my word that I'm sticking by. Cheers. Yeah, listen, I think that Nuggets fans were definitely nervous game 1 and game 2 because it was a version of the Nuggets that we haven't seen in a really, really long time. So yeah, definitely nervous. I mean, it was, and honestly, we were seeing a version of the Nuggets, even in the Lakers series, that didn't feel comfortable. I'm telling you, I tweeted tonight, you can feel the moment that they start playing Denver Nuggets ball. I bet you felt it tonight. You can tell the moment that they decide to say, okay, it's go time. And enough of the funny business. They started playing with their food a little bit coming out of halftime. They looked a little lackluster. They looked a little slow. They looked like they were not very urgent coming out of half. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? They're playing with their food again. This is not going to work. And then you just felt it. You felt the moment. It was late in the third where I was like, yeah, there they are. They're not going down without a fight. Any thoughts on why Murray didn't attempt a 3? I don't know. He didn't need to. KCP, I think KCP got hot, and that was it. I think KCP got hot early, actually. He had 3s falling early, so Jamal didn't have to. And I think that Jamal knows that about KCP, the same way I know that about KCP, is when he has 1 or 2 3s start to fall, let him shoot. Let him take the shot. He when he gets on a roll with those 3s, it's magic. And it happens really fast. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jamal still had a great performance, 50% from the field, and it was 16 points. I'm a little surprised to not see more assists from him. I know that in the betting world, I saw quite a few people liking his assist tonight. I think the line was at 5.5 the last time I checked. So a little surprised to see his assists so low. But I will tell you, yeah, I think the reason that he didn't shoot as many 3s as he probably could have is because KCP was not only taking the shot, but making the shot. Will Shaq ever apologize for his ridiculous? No, I don't think he will, because here's what I think. I think Shaq's intentions behind the message he will stand behind forever. He believes that SGA deserved MVP, and that will not change. That will not change. Do I think he will go public with an apology of, I shouldn't have said that at that time? No. No. Because what he did is he created a buffer for himself a little tiny bit when he said, I just want you to hear this from me. This is how I feel. So he kind of he worded it in a way that it sounded like he was doing Jokic a favor. It sounded like he was, I got your back. I'm going to tell you this so you don't hear it through the grapevine. First of all, how the hell would he hear it through the grapevine? That man has no social media. He doesn't care about media. He doesn't pay attention. He plays his game and he goes home to his family, and then it's repeat, repeat, repeat. And he's counting down the days until he can go back to his home country and hang with his horses. So Shaq, I think, said that intentionally to set himself up for, if this comment makes me look stupid or makes me look like an a-hole, I was just doing it because I didn't want him to hear it from somebody else. Dude, first of all, Jokic has never once campaigned for MVP. That's why him getting MVP is so sweet. He's never once made it a big deal. He's never once implied that he deserves it or wants it or feels like he, never once. You'll never ever hear him act like he wants MVP, which I actually think drives people insane. People cannot stand that Jokic has a life outside of basketball, that ball is not life for Nikola Jokic. People can't stand it. It drives them insane. So for him to win 3 MVPs, and honestly, basketball is not his number one priority most of the year, drives people nuts. Let it. Honestly, I can respect a guy that hangs it up, leaves it on the court, and goes home to his family and is an absolute family guy, stays out of the drama, wants nothing to do with it. Thanks anyway for the extra motivation, Shaq. Absolutely. If anything, we should be thanking Shaquille O'Neal because it absolutely unlocked a different version of Nikola Jokic. I actually saw a graphic that said, since Shaq's comments, Jokic is 2-0 and SGA is 0-2. Obviously, that has since changed. Jokic is now 3-0. SGA is now 1-2. But at the time that I saw that graphic, I was like, that's funny. That is so funny. And if you remember, who was it? I believe it was Shannon Sharp made comments about the Grizzlies and Ja Morant needing to be humbled. And after that, they were on the worst losing streak you could imagine. So similar vibe here. Shaq said something, and ultimately he just looks foolish. He just looks foolish, and we're seeing that. The Nuggets got this in 6, but like Drake said, it's far from over. Yeah, and I hope that the Nuggets treat game 6 that way. It's far from over. You're going back on in their territory. And let's not forget the Timberwolves did steal 2 games on the road to start this series. So they are very capable of doing that again in game 7. Very capable. Now, do I think that this Nuggets team is very different right now than they were in game 1 and game 2? Yes. Do I think they did their homework? Yes. Do I think they learned to stop playing with their food? Yes. Do I think being embarrassed in game 2 is exactly what the Nuggets needed? Yes. Because here's what I saw in the Lakers series. I saw lackadaisical, lazy, slow basketball by the Denver Nuggets because they knew they did not have to put their best foot forward in order to beat the Lakers. They could half-ass it. It didn't matter. They were winning, and they knew that. Jamal said it after last game. You play a team that many times and win, you kind of get a little comfortable. You get a little complacent. When you're 12-1 in the last 13 against the same team, yeah, you probably take your foot off the gas and go, we're good. We're good. We've been here. We've done this 12 times. So I think that they were in a series where they didn't have to give it their all. So they did not. Now, what I was worried about in the Lakers series, if you guys have watched the show with me and been hanging around for a while, is that I was worried they were building bad habits. I think what we saw in game 1 and game 2 is those bad habits I was worried about. What I think game 2 did is embarrass them bad and force them to get back on track in game 3 and play the basketball that they know how to play, most importantly, but should have been playing all along. However, against the Lakers, They didn't feel like they needed to. And I think that's just the simple truth of the matter. I think they were on some BS with the Lakers, and then they quickly realized you cannot be on that same type of time with a team like the Timberwolves. They got embarrassed in game 2, and they quickly realized, we're going to have to figure this out quick. And they did. So, this is Denver Nuggets basketball, baby. And that's just the fact of the matter. Basketball karma will always restore order in the world whenever there's some BS going on. It's so true. It's so true. Shaq said what he said. SGA goes, 0-2 after those comments. Jokic goes 2-0. I mean, come on. You love to see it. I'm going to let people know that we're still here. I think we're going to have some sound for you guys as well. We're going to have some sound from maybe Coach Malone, maybe some of the players. I'm not entirely sure. I'm hoping that they're moving with swiftness because they're just as tired as we all are, because this is insane. It's 11:30 my time, which means if you're tuning in Eastern time, it's 1:30 in the morning, which is insane. Let's see here. We've got quite a bit of you. Oh my gosh, I love having y'all here. Let me just make sure. I'm going to just get people in here, you guys. Can you imagine if Jamal Murray got suspended for game 3? Him not getting suspended saved the Nuggets season. I believe that. Yeah, I think Jamal should be counting his blessings for sure in that regard. He absolutely dodged a bullet. Yeah, he did. That was huge for him and for the Nuggets, definitely. Now, do I think the Nuggets are capable of winning without Jamal? Yeah, because he's been ghost mode most of the postseason. So, yes, I think that they would have been okay. Maybe not that. They probably wouldn't have played that great because he had a pretty stellar game 3, but I do think they're capable of maneuvering without him. We are going to hear from some people soon. Why don't you guys... Did you see at the beginning of the 4th, Rudy did the money sign again? Are you kidding me? I did not see that. I'm going to say about to hear from some Nuggets. I don't know. What should I say? About to hear from the Nuggets crew soon. Eyeball emoji. There you go. Why are you in a basement? So I decided not to go to the studio today because I had a doctor's appointment this evening. It's all good. I've been having some interesting health stuff, guys. I've been passing out, which is not a good thing. Very dangerous. KT, thank you so much. Everything is good with me. I got some answers, thankfully, and that's all that matters. I got some answers, and hopefully I can just move accordingly now that I know kind of what's happening. But yeah, I've been fainting and passing out, which is a super not good thing, especially because if I pass out and no one's around and I hit my head, could be really bad. So did that tonight, and then honestly, after that appointment, I was pretty tired, and then I realized this game is going so late tonight. I don't think that I can get to the studio tonight. I will be in the studio tomorrow, however, for a Hoops Your Daddy episode with Shelby Harris and Brandon Cristal. So that will be coming tomorrow. We'll be back in the studio. We'll be chatting all things game 5, previewing game 6. You know the deal. Thank you so much, Tyler. Home studio. Yeah, it's, you got to do what you got to do around here. It's hard watching Murray these playoffs. Praying for you. Thank you, Todd. Yeah, I think Murray, it's just been a different version of Jamal Murray. I think I've got a man crush on the AG, and I don't know what to do about it. Tap into it, just tap into it. Don't fight it. Jokic shot 8 of 9 while Rudy was the primary defender. Yeah, listen. MVP, DPOY. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, he just said, I don't care that you're the defensive player of the year. I could give a rip. I'm putting on a master class. And this is what I'm trying to do. And he did it. He did it. 40 points. I mean, he had a phenomenal performance. Rudy just can't help himself with this money sign thing. I didn't see that, you guys. Gobert's money gesture lost weight. Yeah, I didn't see him do that this game. Somebody's comment says blood pressure or stop drinking. So here's the thing. The drinking thing, you might be onto something. No, I really don't drink unless it's on the weekends. It's actually something with my heart, believe it or not, but nothing that should be too concerning. It's something I've actually dealt with for a while that I kind of just thought was like a thing of the past, and it's not. So yes, I should not probably drink because I'm sure that doesn't help the heart and the blood pressure and all that. I'm sure it's all connected. So yes, I will take your word for it. I will back off of the drinks. I actually was gifted this because I had some levels of dehydration. So I'll be drinking water. I'm good. Yeah. Oh, Shaq is straight up pissed off Joker, and I love it. And you know what's funny? I think that Jokic handled that so well. He laughed it off. He made a little joke. He just doesn't tap into. And I think here's do I want to drop this take? Yes, I do. I think Shaq said that to Jokic because he knows he can, and Jokic is the type of guy to make a joke and to move on. I don't think Shaq would do the same thing to any other player in the league. I really, really don't. I don't think he'd ever look LeBron James in the eyes and say that. I don't think he'd ever look at Anthony Edwards in the eyes and say that. I don't think that he would do that to Luka. I don't think that he would do that to anyone. He wouldn't do that to Embiid, in my opinion. I think he knows that Jokic kind of has this, energy about him where he's lackadaisical and he maybe doesn't always care. And I think that's why Shaq did that. Because I don't think Shaq would do that to a player if he thought that player would turn around and be like, huh? And I think he took advantage of Jokic in that situation. And that's what I don't really love. That's what I don't really love. So what we have coming up for you is a clip of Coach Malone talking about momentum in this series. I don't know if you guys saw, but Anthony Edwards said, and here's the thing I love about Anthony Edwards. I have yet to see any type of pre or post game footage of him saying anything that was like out of pocket, out of line. He did talk a little bit about the momentum, and he said he felt like the Nuggets didn't have basically a momentum advantage right now. This was prior to the game that we just watched. Obviously, I disagree. But I can also agree with him in the sense that I don't necessarily think that it's momentum that's carrying this Nuggets team. I think they just finally decided to show up. So that to me, I think makes a huge difference. Obviously, we're finally seeing some Denver Nuggets ball, which makes a huge difference. So yeah, I think momentum obviously helps. And I think right now the Nuggets obviously have a lot of it because they just won 3 in a row and they know that next game it could be it. And they also know that the Timberwolves are capable of beating them on their home court. They did it twice back to back. So it probably wouldn't be smart to go into game 6 going, oh, well, we can bring it back home. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just wrap it up in 6, shall we? Ant seems to be in a little bit of denial and he's gotten a little comfortable. So if we're talking about Anthony Edwards personally, the dude is great. Obviously, our defense found some really great ways to slow him down. He went from having a 44-point game to an 18-point game. He was 5 of 15 from the field and was 1 of 5 from 3. So our defense found some answers for Anthony Edwards, which, again, he still ended with 18 points. So it's not like, our defense can always be better, can always be improved. But yeah, I think our defense found some answers for him. I think that he is going to absolutely turn it up and be great at home in game 6. But again, I think that generational talent, that fire that he brings is all good and great. But this playoff ball is it's team ball and it's just a different breed. It's a different breed. So I do think momentum, obviously, yes, is a factor here. But more than that, I just think that one team is better and more well-versed in a playoff spot than the other. That being said, I do think we should hear from Coach Malone to talk about momentum and his perspective on the momentum either in favor of the Nuggets or not in favor of the Nuggets. I haven't heard the clips. Let's hear it for the first time together. Here is Coach Malone.
Coach, I've asked you about momentum a bunch. Now that it's established, how do you maintain it and not let them get back into this to force a Game 7?
Just keep playing the way we're playing. I mean, like I learned a long time ago, very simple from Jeff Van Gundy, understand why you win, understand why you lose. So after that Game 2 loss, we took time to really own why we were losing and why we were down 0-2. And then obviously we've won 3 games in a row. And I think in those games, I think we've been physical, aggressive, assertive, disciplined, confident, whatever you want to call it. And we know that closeout game is always the hardest game in any series. And they have a great crowd. That place is going to be rocking on Thursday night. We just have to weather the storm, stay with it, and continue to play championship-level basketball.
Level basketball. I love hearing him say that. I love hearing him say that. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the edge that the Nuggets came into the postseason with, and that's the fact that they have something that every other team wants. But not only do they have that something, which is the title of being the champions, but they also know what it takes to get there. And I think that there's a lot of teams that have the talent to get there, but they don't always have the fundamentals to get there. And I think the Nuggets have both, which obviously helps a lot. Jamal and MPJ had off game. This was a chance for the TWolves. But Joker it was a masterclass by Nikola Jokic. Next game, I don't know if they will have that luxury. To be honest with you, Game 1 and Game 2, Lakers series as a whole, to me, Jokic looked gassed. Jokic looked not Jokic. Game 2, everybody was off. Game 1, kind of lackluster. I think if we can get this version of Nikola Jokic, which I do anticipate we will moving forward, again, Rudy doesn't have an answer for him. Jokic is going to continue to cook Rudy, period. So I think that, they don't have an answer for Jokic as long as he can stay on and we get any type of help from our starting 5. I still believe Aaron Gordon is the X factor. So if we can keep getting the version of Gordon that we're getting, I feel pretty good about Game 6. Coach Malone has made some masterful adjustments in this series on both ends of the ball. I would love to talk about that because I agree. There have been many times as a Denver Nuggets fan, full transparency, that I have questioned Coach Malone's rotation. I have questioned non-Jokic minutes late in the game. I have questioned a lot of things that Coach Malone has done, but this team's ability at the hands of Coach Malone to make adjustments against the Lakers, I think the Lakers was simply them just not showing up, but especially against a team like the Timberwolves with so much firepower, absolutely deserves recognition and praise for sure. Defensively, I've been pretty impressed with the changes and the adjustments that the Nuggets have made because I think it's really easy to let this starting 5 on the Timberwolves team just shoot lights out. We saw that. We saw them do that in Game 1 and Game 2. And then I think when they started to make the defensive adjustments that they needed to make, they started to expose the Timberwolves offense for what they really are. That is no offense to the Timberwolves offense. There's a lot of talent. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns shooting incredible from 3. I don't know what he did tonight, but I know across this series as a whole, he's been pretty incredible from 3. He was 2 of 5 tonight. So yeah, he's been great from 3. And you've got Anthony Edwards, obviously, that can produce. McDaniels is not one that I trust. Rudy, but you also have to remember they have the 6th man of the year that comes off the bench. And so when our bench is in getting bench minutes and then their bench is in, it can be very, very different. Now we've had our bench step up. We have CB making a big impact. We've had Justin Holiday across this series making a big impact. Didn't as much tonight offensively, but CB has been huge. Reggie Jackson has been a little bit more his minutes have felt more quality over quantity. He's maybe not getting as many, but when he is out there, he's also not screwing up, which is very, very important. If you can hear the dogs barking, please forgive them. They're excited that the Nuggets won. I thought we were dead after game 2 because of the way the Nuggets just rolled over. Yeah, they just kind of like got punched in the mouth and just said like, go ahead, do it again. We don't care. And I was trying to understand, like, there was a point in time in there where I actually was a little frustrated thinking to myself, if I want this championship, if I want a back-to-back championship more than they do, then like I'm done watching this team because that's kind of how game 2 looked. It was just so like they were playing like the series is over. So forgive me, everybody that wants to say I switched up. Don't go back on your word, Liv. You said what you said. I did, but did you watch game 2? They acted like the series was over. They played like the series was over. So then game 3, when they actually show me who they can be, well, yeah, there they are. Okay, now I'm confident that they can win in 7 for sure. Liv, who you got game 6? Be honest. I think I've got the Nuggets in game 6. Only because they don't have an answer for Nikola Jokic. I think that Aaron Gordon is on a heater right now that I don't anticipate him slowing down. I was a little worried about his shoulder in the middle of this game. Kind of felt like his arm went limp and he was like you could tell he was uncomfortable. It was when he went for that dunk and then it didn't happen. He was way too far out and he attempted it and it did not work. And then I think he got tangled up with Gobert maybe. Or Cat, and it looked like he tweaked his shoulder. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it did. I was a little worried. I was like, oh God, not the shoulder. We've dealt with that before. Please, not the shoulder. Yeah, CB can get out there and make a difference for sure. And I do think he's getting. I mean, he got 28 minutes tonight. 28 minutes off the bench is in a playoff game is pretty incredible, but I think that when he goes out there and has the energy that he has, it's really hard to deny what he's doing and the impact that he's got. And so why pull him? Why take him out, you know? What an acting job with the pause. Listen, if there's one thing I have learned working in sports, I'm actually going to plug in my phone really quick, you guys. Sorry. This is what we do on this show. We just we're just chilling. It's like we're hanging out in the living room together. Yeah. If there's one thing I have learned in this industry, don't mind my gosh. I meant to keep my leg down the whole time because this camo does not go with this outfit, but I was comfortable. So back off, okay? That's the beauty of what I do. I'm wearing PJ pants half the time. You just don't know it. Okay? But anyway, it's that head versus heart battle, you know? Heart says Nuggets, head says that the Timberwolves won't go down without a fight, you know? That being said, we've now seen 3 games in a row of Denver Nuggets basketball. Anyone that's watched the playoffs, all you have to say is Denver Nuggets basketball, and people should know what you're talking about. You should be able to play it in your head and go, I see it. I get it. So when they play that type of basketball, which they now have 3 games in a row, they're unstoppable to me. I don't think that there's an answer for Nikola Jokic. So I'm going to go Nuggets. I'm going to go Nuggets in game 6. Oof. But I get nervous. You just never say never. Never count out Anthony Edwards. Never count out that home court advantage with a loud crowd in a elimination game. Don't do it. So I'm going to say Nuggets. How do you guys feel though, chat? Hopefully we'll have some more sound here in a little bit. Shout out to BK, Brandon Crystal, member of the Guerilla Sports family and lead sports analyst with KOA in Denver. Also, shout out to our wonderful sponsors. This show, this episode, this late night stream is presented by Landmark Lincoln. We're super thankful for our sponsors. So want to give out those shout outs. We wouldn't be here without sponsors. We appreciate and love them to death. And look at this ride. Look at this whip. I mean, kind of feel like I want one. Kind of feel like I should put all my life savings on the Nuggets money line in game 6. And if I cash, I go to Landmark Lincoln right to it. I take them. I don't even take them cash. I just take them my bet slip and I say, look at this. I want the one with the red interior now. Anyway, shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to BK, who is getting us sound, feeding us sound. We appreciate. I don't know if you guys recognize that voice, but he was the one asking Coach Malone about momentum. We got a great response from Coach Malone, and I actually think we are going to hear from BK himself here in a little bit. So stay with me. I know it's late. We've been hanging out for about 40 minutes now. We'll hang for like another 15, 20, and then we'll all go to bed because it is flipping late. It's so late. This is insane. I cannot believe Adam Silver has no respect. Oh, this jacket, you guys, so old. It's by the way, it's a shirt that just has like buttons. It is so old. I don't even think I could tell you where to get it. This is like old school Nuggets when they were wearing these uniforms. This was purchased. It's so old. We've had it in my family for forever. So I really don't know where it's from. Yes, Guerilla Sports. You hear that? Any of my producers or people or bosses within Guerilla Sports that are tuning in right now, I would like a landmark Lincoln. So just putting it out there. Just saying. Do with that what you will. Denver in 6. Joker is cooking, and TWolves didn't lose a game in the playoffs before Denver. Yeah, this is the first time that this Timberwolves team in the postseason has been humbled. I actually worried about that a little bit. Free car for Liv. I agree, guys. Start the hashtag. Spread the news. I actually agree with. No. Okay. Free car for Liv. That's right. KT. I worried about that a little bit. About the Timberwolves sweeping in the first round because I think you kind of get that comfortability. Same way that the Nuggets did playing the Lakers 13 times and winning 12 of those 13 times. You just get a little, I don't want to say cocky, but you kind of are like, okay, you maybe get a little disconnected from how good you really are, right? Or how beatable you can truly be. So I think that the Timberwolves sweeping a team that's got a lot of superstars, Bradley Beal, whether you want to admit it or not, is a great player. They've got Kevin Durant. They've got Devin Booker. I mean, it's a team that's stacked. So to sweep them comfortably, I think kind of gives you a little bit of like, oh, we're good. We're chilling. And that's not reality. So soon here, we're about to actually have a clip from Jamal, our very own BK, who we will also hopefully hear from before we wrap tonight. Asked Jamal about the importance of closing out this game in 6 and what that looks like on Thursday. Obviously, you guys, I love hanging out with you guys, and I will continue to do so whether or not the Nuggets are still, if we get a little break and the Nuggets are not playing before the Western Conference Finals, we will continue to do these post-game reactions no matter what. Okay, no matter what that looks like, we will still do them. But wouldn't it just be nice to have like a little, I could see this Dallas OKC series going back to back to back to back to back. And I'm pretty sure they got a little bit of a late start. Isn't their series their series is tied 2-2. They don't play till tomorrow. So there would be a little bit of time for this Nuggets team. I know Coach Malone has said that he actually doesn't love a ton of rest, that this team really does well with like that 2-day window for travel and for practice and film and just kind of get to it and go. I know that they prefer that. But I feel like for the sake of injuries, like we saw Aaron Gordon, a completely different player from game 2 to game 3 when he had a week to heal. Not a full week. It was Monday to Friday. So a good amount of days to get his body right, to rest. We know that his game is very physical. We know he was not 100%. I think that he was a little banged up. So I don't know what's better for this Nuggets team. Is it going the distance and keeping everything moving like this? Maybe. Or is it give them some rest, let their bodies heal up, and they either face Dallas or OKC, two teams that I think that they are very capable of beating. Obviously, they've got to get through the Timberwolves first. I don't want to say anything and get ahead of myself because the Timberwolves, I don't think are going down without a fight. But I do know that Jamal Murray has some thoughts on game 6 and the importance of game 6, the importance of closing out the series on Thursday. So let's hear what Jamal Murray has to say about that.
Well, Coach, a couple times said closeout games are always the toughest. How big will it be, and I guess important, to try to close this out to get as much maybe rest for guys that
I mean, we're trying to win every game. Trying to win every game. I think we got to go in there with the same attitude we did last time we went there. We know the place is going to be rocking. We know they're going to come out aggressive. So I think for us, it's just focusing on us. Focusing on the energy we bring, focusing on how we come out to start each quarter, and we just kind of go from there. But the team knows what it is, and then it's nice to be able to say we've been in this position before. Now that we're finally up, so looking to end it at their place. When we get there.
At their place, please. Why don't you? Jamal Murray has been pretty locked into me. Honestly, post heat pack incident, I feel like he kind of just got this, like, he entered villain mode a little bit, and it feels like he's just really dialed into whatever it takes to win. May not be that he's got the buzzer beaters, even though he did sprinkle one of those on us last game at halftime, which was insane. It looks like we are heading for the Carmelo Bowl in the finals, LOL. Crazy, right? Wow. Wouldn't that be crazy? Liv, thoughts on Caitlin Clark having 10 turnovers and the Fever getting smoked, no pun intended, today? You know what? I think that Caitlin Clark, as extremely talented as she is, we have seen some of these WNBA players talk about it, current and former, that there's going to be a learning curve involved with going from kind of graduating from college to WNBA. That is not to say that Caitlin Clark is not going to still be phenomenal. She's a generational talent. She is exceptional at what she does. But there is going to be a learning curve. There is going to be some games where she feels out of place and she's feeling the pressure a little bit more because this is a different level of the sport that she knows how to play. So I don't really have thoughts outside of, I think she'll bounce back. I think she'll be fine. And I think that she's phenomenal. So I think that she'll be all right. They'll be all right. I think it's just, a bump in the road, but I think she's going to learn a lot from that. So all of that to say, we have our wonderful Guerilla Sports member, BK, who is in Ball Arena, getting all this great sound for us, talking to Jamal, talking to Coach Malone, asking all the right questions. There he is, little KOA mic cover. I already told everybody you're the lead analyst over at KOA. You're also a member of the Guerilla Sports fam. You are probably exhausted because you've been traveling everywhere, but you're back home. You're in Ball Arena. Tell me what the atmosphere felt like tonight.
It was electric, and you could feel it seemingly at every Aaron Gordon dunk, and then a couple of Nikola Jokic dunks that were part of that 40-point night, 15 of 21 shooting. It was just pretty remarkable, and it was brought up in the press conference so far. We haven't talked to Joker yet, but to Michael Malone and to Jamal Murray about the idea that Nikola is the MVP now for a third time in 4 years, but he clearly seems to relish this matchup with the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. And it's funny because Rudy Gobert was acquired because Tim Connolly knew that he was going to need more defensive help to slow down Nikola Jokic. And even with a now 4-time Defensive Player of the Year there, Nikola seems to eat him up. He averaged close to 35 this year against him, and then gets 40 tonight. And so the only person I think that can even make Nikola's night challenging, and we'll see this matchup over the coming years, is Victor Wembanyama. But right now it feels like he has figured out the test. He has the we heard Jamal talk about cheat codes as it related to 2K and playing that game. But it feels if he didn't have the cheat codes, he certainly has the answers already to all these tests.
Yeah, I mean, Nikola Jokic absolutely put on a masterclass. He reminded everybody of his MVP status, not just once, not twice, but 3 times, which is obviously a huge accomplishment for Nikola Jokic. I want to ask you, obviously, they not only are up in the series, but have won 3 in a row. I want to actually take it the reverse here and say, what do the Timberwolves have to do to win game 6? Because to me, it's pretty simple. If the Nuggets keep playing the way they're playing, they'll wrap this up in 6. What do you think the Timberwolves are hoping to fix as they go into game 6? That's actually something that they could do.
I guess they need to make more shots, right? Because when you look, when it's all said and done, their 3-point shooting, 8 of 26, 30%, and they shot poorly at home. They shot well in the first 2 games here. So I think it kind of starts with the shooting, but I think they also need to get a little more creative defensively, which is hard to do because they seem to have thrown their best punches at Joker and company and at Michael Malone and his staff. And that certainly was the case, maybe more so in game 2, where it was as good at, 24 minutes of basketball defensively that you might ever see, good a half as you'll ever see. But I think if they make shots and I guess keep Aaron Gordon from getting to the basket as easily, those are
what do you do?
And I don't know what you do, because Joker still gets you 40. And if you're going to play even harder on him, and he had 13 assists to go with it, but if you're going to really focus 2 players on him, he's just going to get the ball to the open man or to the person that's going to get it to the open man. And so I think that makes it extremely challenging if you're the Timberwolves. And is their spirit broken? Did they rip their soul out the way they ripped the Lakers' soul out? Because to go up 2-0 and then to be in Minnesota, and from the second that we landed, and Jason, our great videographer, and I were in a Uber with a gentleman born in Africa but been in America 26 years, loves Kobe, loves the NBA, loves the Timberwolves. And so, like, from the jump, we were talking about the Timberwolves. You check in our hotel, everyone's got their Timberwolves gear on. And I get that we got there on game day, but the place was electric. And then it was totally deflated. And then on Sunday, it might have even been consistently a more excited crowd, but the Nuggets took them out of that as well. So now you have a fan base that was planning parades, seeing their team lose 3 in a row and being reminded that, these guys are the champs and Nikola Jokic is the MVP. So it's going to be fascinating to see if the Nuggets can close this out on Thursday. And as I've been told by somebody in the know, this hasn't been reported yet, and I guess this is the first place I'm saying it, at least I haven't seen it reported. It's my understanding that no matter what happens in the Dallas series or this series, because Dallas and OKC are now going to a 6th game at least, with the Thunder stealing that win in Dallas last night to even it back up, take court back. Their game 7's Monday, no matter what. They're not sliding it up, right? So they're playing game 5 Friday, or Wednesday, Friday, however it breaks down, right? Okay, anyway. So the next round, the Western Conference Finals, are going to start a week from tomorrow. Thus, if you can close the game out on Thursday in game 6, you're going to get almost a week off. And I know Nikola Jokic doesn't like it. I get that Michael Malone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But Jamal Murray could get that much time before he has to go in to the conference finals for a chance to get back to the NBA finals. And KCP, who's clearly dealing with a nagging ankle injury, well, you couldn't tell with some of those big threes he was knocking down tonight. They're now 19-4 in games where he makes 4 or more 3-pointers since he's joined the Nuggets. And so if they can get the rest for those guys, and even Reggie Jackson, who showed his moments and didn't take too many crazy shots and made a couple of shots that he did take, but if they can get that rest, no matter what happens, if Dallas and OKC goes 6 either way, they'll get a little bit extra time too. But if they can somehow get to game 7, then you're going to get all that extra time. But I guess the argument on the other side is, though, they kept playing. Nonetheless, I think close it out, and that way you don't have to worry about maybe the zombie Timberwolves if they've come back to life, right? So
Absolutely. Well, interestingly enough, we'll talk about this before I let you go, because I know it's way past everybody's bedtime right now.
Not Nikola Jokic, just he still hasn't talked. So
there we go. He's wide awake. I would be too, after putting the masterclass on like that and proving all the haters wrong. But final thing here, interestingly enough, obviously, I love betting on sports, especially the NBA. Right now, the opening line for Thursday night's game is actually favoring the Timberwolves. They are a 2.5-point favorite right now. The total is sitting at 205. Obviously, we've seen defense step up immensely in this series. So we've seen that total get lower and lower every time these two teams play. But the Timberwolves right now are 2.5-point favorites. How do you feel about taking a side in game 6?
And it's not just because we live in Denver and I cover the Nuggets, and I have for a long time. This is my 17th season, I think, covering them. I think they're going to cover and win. I just don't see – you've taken the best shot Anthony Edwards will give you, 44 the other night. Then you throw as many different bodies at him as you can tonight and really take him out of the game in a lot of ways. Rudy Gobert, even if he's perfect from the field and gets you 18 points, he's not going to scare you. I guess with the Alexander Walker kid knocking down a few more threes, which he wasn't making at home in either of those games, Naz Reid has kind of become less of a factor than the 6th man of the year should be. And if Mike
Yep.
Conley's still banged up, then there's that veteran leader. And as much as we love Monte Morris for the time he spent here, you take away what Mike Conley can do in running that offense and knocking down big shots. I don't say they're going to win or lose based on Mike Conley being there, but if he's not there, it makes it even harder. So I love taking the Nuggets to close this out, because as we keep hearing them talk about the heart of a champion and quoting Rudy Tomjanovich, we're seeing it. And I think they are reminded how they need to play, how they need to approach everything, how deliberate they need to
Yep.
be. They can't play with their food, as you like to say. And I think we will see them
Yeah.
come out Thursday and not only win, cover the 2.5. I would maybe tease it and see
Okay.
if you can get, or just take an alternative spread, right? And look
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
6, 7, 8, because especially if the game gets out of hand or if it's clear that the Nuggets are going to win, then I think all bets are off. Now, Luka Garza came in the other night, and that kid at Iowa could really knock it down, and he kept getting to the line in one of the games, the blowout on Friday. Either way, I still like the Nuggets not only cover that 2.5, but maybe somewhere in that neighborhood, 6, 7, 8 even, which will have much better odds.
Love that. Love that. Listen, you have been a stand true to your word on Nuggets in 7, even when I was petrified after game 2 and I wanted to switch up. You doubled down. You said, nope, I still like the Nuggets in 7. But honestly, I would be okay if you were wrong, BK. And if they clean this up in 6, I would not be mad about it. It would not make me upset. I will still give you your kudos. But yeah, we're really hoping here that the Nuggets can go on the road and continue to do what they're doing. Obviously, 3-game win streak. They're now up in the series. But the Timberwolves are a team that probably won't go down without a fight. Anthony Edwards, as we know, will not go down without a fight. So very interested to see how game 6 plays out on the road. But you and I will be live in the studio tomorrow talking all things Game 6, we'll probably break it down on a deeper level, talk through all the things we saw in Game 5, things we liked, didn't like, who's the X factor, maybe some bets. Maybe we'll cook up a little parlay together. I don't know. We may as well.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, let's do
and
it. Let's do
Shelby
it.
Harris scheduled to join us as well. So
Yep.
It's going to be fun looking ahead to Game 6, and then perhaps maybe projecting out what a matchup between either Dallas or Oklahoma City would look like.
Yep.
Because you just have to start to do that. And I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark as much as you already have tonight. So even though she's awesome, there's no denying that. But to look at maybe what the East is starting to shape up as, or continuing to shape up as, and who will represent
The
these.
long road ahead.
Who the Nuggets will go play, but Jalen Brunson has his Superman cape on, despite how banged up they are. And we've seen the Celtics lose to guys like that before, namely Jimmy Butler last year. So anyway, we can get into all that tomorrow. Liv, keep up the great work. I'm going to see if Joker's finished his post-game meal yet.
Absolutely.
Or if we've got another 15, 20
we'll
minutes
see you
to
live.
wait.
We'll see you live in the studio tomorrow, BK. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Chat, it's always such a pleasure to have BK. He works his tail off getting us all things sound and content and footage and all that sort of stuff. So we're sitting right now, guys, at the 58-minute mark. I have to tell you, I'm pretty certain it will be a little while before we hear from Nikola Jokic. I'm sure people were grabbing him after the game to perform that well. I have a feeling that we're not going to hear from him for a while. And if I'm not mistaken, I know for a fact Tyler, who tunes in regularly to this show, to this post-game show, he's an OG. It is 2 a.m. where you're from, Tyler. So I don't know how on earth you are still awake, but I appreciate you guys all for being here because my eyes are getting heavy and I'm tired. Grab a Red Bull. I know, you guys, I don't want it to end. I mean, I'm sitting here looking. We've got like almost 3,000 of you guys that are up past your bedtime hanging out, talking all things Denver Nuggets. But I promise you, no matter how this series ends, no matter how the Western Conference Finals, Adam, welcome. Adam Hurley, welcome, welcome, welcome. So this post-game show we do after every Nuggets game, win or lose. However, I didn't go live after game 2 and everybody thinks that was like intentional. No, I just happened to be on a work trip and could not film. And I also just happened to be playing horrible basketball, so it worked out perfectly for me. But we go live every single post game for the Denver Nuggets, talking all things, instant reaction, what we think will happen next game, all that sort of stuff. And really, it's just very chill. It's very calm. We don't just sit and read stats the whole time. We like to have fun. It should feel like we're in the living room together, just talking shit and having fun. And I hope you guys feel that when you're here. So we will continue to do this after every Nuggets game, win or lose, unless I have something that forces me out of it. I will tell you, my sister is graduating from high school. Yay, congrats, sister, on Thursday. So depending on how long that lasts, I will do my very best to get to the studio and talk all things Denver Nuggets with you guys. The best post-game show for Nuggets fans, hands down. Oh, that makes me so happy. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for always tuning in no matter what freaking time it is. It is so late. Adam Silver, what the hell is your problem? Nobody wants to be up at this hour. This is insanity. But we also want to watch Nikola Jokic put on a freaking masterclass, so we're forced to stay awake. Oh my gosh. Free car for Liv's sister. Yes, Adam, we need 2 free cars in the Moody family ASAP. It looks like we've got someone from Europe. Like, what is going on? You guys are insane. I love you. You're incredible. We will have another post game hopefully coming Thursday. Like I said, all kind of depends on the graduation. Live to the moon. Jeremy, you are an OG. Jeremy's been with me, following me, supporting me, commenting, tuning in, all the things literally for 3 years. So shout out Jeremy. Congrats to your little sis. Thank you, KT. Also a huge supporter of all of the things that I do. Could not thank you enough for that, KT. Tyler as well as an OG in these streams. Keep cooking as always, my friend. So proud of you. Tyler also does some content, so make sure you check out all the things he has to say about the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, you guys, I appreciate you guys for hanging here. There's so many of you still on here, but I feel like it is past our bedtimes. And I do want to hold some of these deeper, more in-depth conversations for tomorrow's Hoops Your Daddy show. I will be joined by Shelby Harris, defensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, as well as BK, who we just heard from live from Ball Arena. So we will go live tomorrow from the studio. I'm not sure if we're planning on going live or if it's going to be recorded and then posted, because I do know we tend to film during the day. And most of you guys are like working and busy during the day. So not sure if it'll be live, but we will definitely have a Hoops Your Daddy episode for you tomorrow. Go Nuggets. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always tuning in. Yeah, everybody get your coffee ready tomorrow morning because we are all going to be so damn exhausted. But I will see you guys Thursday, hopefully live. If all goes well with my sister's graduation and we can wrap that up quick, I'll be live with you guys Thursday, hopefully celebrating a win by the Denver Nuggets. Good night, KT. Go Nuggets. The coffee better do its job. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's go Nuggets. Shout out Nikola Jokic. Shout out the whole starting 5. Best in the league. Game 6 is ahead. Hopefully we'll get a dub. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.